bringing my really good friend, Melissa Henderson. Today, we're going to be talking about different topics, talking about transitioning from lifestyle writing, freelancing, moving into the crypto space. We're also going to be talking about how can we bring more communities of color, more marginalized communities to enter what can be seen as very scary from the outside, the crypto space, blockchain. So I'm just so excited. Thank you, Melissa, for being here. How are you doing today?
Oh my gosh, I'm doing so well. Thank you for having me on your podcast. And it's always nice that I get to talk to Alejandra. So yeah.
Love it.
Crypto babe.
Yeah, I love that. You know, you're a crypto babe. So funny story. Again, like I know you guys, every time I bring somebody, it's always from Clubhouse. But Clubhouse was like amazing and connecting. And I'm sure you met so many interesting people. Yes. In the crypto community. But Melissa is somebody that I love because she actually runs a magazine where she talks about crypto tech. And what I liked about her is that she doesn't use all of this crazy terminology. It's very easy to understand, especially for people that are creatives, people that are, you know, not involved into the crypto space, never been in tech, and it's very easy to understand. So that's why I really wanted to bring her and really talk about these different topics that are very important to my heart. So Melissa, tell me a little bit about, because I know you mentioned before that you used to, you've done freelancing for a really long time, which, you know, I write as well, mostly for our crypto magazine. And, you know, I know writing can be exciting, but for me, writing about crypto is hard because sometimes how do you explain a topic that is so complex and like breaking it down? So like what got you into start writing about crypto? You know, there's so many things to write about.
Yeah. So I always wanted to be a writer growing up, and I've had a lot of people tell me I was never going to be a writer. And so it was more so, I guess, about like my writing style. So my writing style has always been about uplifting Black voices, urban chick literature. So that's what I consider my writing style. So it's not for everyone. And it's interesting enough, like as we move into a world of digital assets only, like writing for the internet is all about breaking down large concepts for people like, you know, from a fourth grade level or a 12th grade level to really understand. So as a freelance writer, I was always about showcasing voices from like a corporate space or voices from like the hood. So it's always come second nature to me. And I started writing about tech in 2016 when I discovered revenge porn, and one of my ex-boyfriends committed an act of revenge porn against his ex-girlfriend. And I was like, hold up, like I need to write about this because Black and brown communities, they go through revenge porn acts all the time. So I was like, I want to write about what it is, how we can, as Black and brown women, keep ourselves safe, how can we report it? And when I wrote that story, it went viral. It was on like the UK Daily Mail, because I wrote a story and it was like in layman's terms. And I'm like, and then I called for like government support on it. And so that's what really got me into like writing about tech and through the eyes of myself as a lifestyle writer, because I always wrote about fashion. I was like, I'm not writing another 10 shoes you should wear on a date. So I just started writing about things that really I was passionate about. And then I guess the tipping point was really learning about blockchain in 2017 and then being home during the quarantine and like looking at my portfolios and joining Clubhouse and saying like, oh my gosh, I finally found a community that were of people that were tech oriented, into crypto, like yourself, Alejandra. And I was just like, at that point, it just took off. I created the Crypto in a City Substack, and it was really about breaking down like really small topics and making it in a storytell manner. So I talk about one of my new topics, I'm talking about inflation, and I'm, you know, talking about it from the perspective of getting your hair braided for $25. Now, if you want your hair braided, it's $150. Why is that? So like people like me, they're going to know what inflation is, because they're like, oh yeah, girl, I remember when I used to get straight backs for $25. Now I got to pay $130. Why is that? So like breaking down those topics, but relating it into a way that people can understand it, and especially women and minority women. So yeah.
I love that, because of all the examples you could have used for inflation, you use braiding your hair, which again is predominantly used by Black women. And I mean, I've seen the statistics of, most people, most Black and brown individuals don't barely have savings, right?
Yeah.
And, they're the most, what we say, like inflation is 2%. There's a statistics that show that 3% is just ironic. There's way more than 3%.
Right.
And the
Right.
people that pay the most of this inflation is the people at the lower 25%. The people that really can even afford, are working full time, can afford to buy a car,
Right.
going into the bus every single day. The same people that, are getting paid less than minimum wage, even though by law they should be paying more, immigrants that are coming into this country, don't have access to any social security, but are still facing the consequences of, in the last 30 days, we already saw, a huge spike in inflation, and,
Right.
everything is overpriced. I'm looking to get a new car, and used cars are just so expensive. Almost
Right. Exactly. Because of the tariffs that are going on overseas. So it's like you can't produce any cars. So now used cars dealers are like, well, great. We have like an influx of people who need cars. Let's raise the price because of the demand.
Exactly. And that's what's going on. So I think it's so important that we use topics that are easy to understand for people of color, right? And I think you and I have always been very, advocate for the Latino community, the Black community, to learn about investing. So now when you go about like writing about different topics, how do you explain it? Like, for example, to your mom or to your family, I come from an immigrant family. My mom got it, she
Right.
I explained Bitcoin to her. I explained Ethereum to her, and she actually started buying Ethereum. And she got
Yes.
so excited once her portfolio kept growing, because she's never trusted banks. On the other side, my dad is more in the traditional side. She thinks the whole Bitcoin is a scam, and even to this day, I'm like, I hope you get rich. I hope you get rich, but like kind of
Right.
saying like you're not. Type thing. So how do you explain it to like older generations? Because I imagine most of your audience is young people, right? How do you go about explaining it to other people, and especially your family?
Yes, yes. So it's so funny that you say that your mom really grabbed hold on the idea of Ethereum, because my aunt, who's in her 60s, she really understood Ethereum from an artist perspective, because we have a lot of artists in our family too. And we're still in that mode where, we didn't get everything that we pretty much have created. So when you talk about Ethereum and smart contracts and being able to make money off of an art piece because you wrote the smart contract of getting, a certain percentage of this art, even if it gets sold, she kind of understood it from that perspective, because she's really into Black art and lifestyle. And, with the whole, she really didn't like the Bitcoin because she didn't like the open transactions and like how everything is, on the blockchain, but she did like the idea of like the blockchain. In terms of like my mom, again, she liked the Ethereum. So I really just go about it from an artistic and creative perspective, and being able to like get what you whatever you created, you can still have access and like ownership of it. And I do, in terms of like my grandfather, I use the idea of like the digital oil. I'm like, Poppy, we're in this phase of like the digital oil, in the 1918 and 1900s, Black and brown people, we didn't have access to the fossil fuels and being able to buy, coal landmines, because we were 3/5 of a person. Nowadays, like we're on a new frontier of technology and business, and this is the new digital oil. And if you invest in this digital oil, you're going to be setting up not just yourself, but our great grandchildren and our great nephews and different people like that. So I really discuss it as like being as a global macro concept of being a part of this new digital oil and being able to have access to it, because we live in a new time now and we don't have to deal with like racism and segregation anymore.
I like that. And you're 100% right. So when it comes to, you live in Miami, right? And
Yes,
Miami is
love
like
Miami.
the hub, right? The
Yes.
hub of Latinos, is the hub of like speaking Spanish, has, one of the biggest Spanish populations in the US. And,
Mm-hmm.
they have a huge Black immigrants as well, a lot from the
Yes.
Caribbean, all over. And, Miami recently announced that they're going to be a crypto hub, right? They're looking to get into mining. They just had Bitcoin 2021 a couple months ago.
Yeah.
How is the atmosphere over there? Because the reason why Miami excites me a lot is because, again, it's such a Spanish speaking place. And I'm going to tell you a funny story.
Yeah.
When I went to Bitcoin 2021, my hotel was really far away from and again, I don't really know geography. So I actually ended getting up my hotel, for those that are not familiar, closer to Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
Thinking, again, it was similar, but that's like an hour away almost.
Yes.
So with Miami traffic, I was so upset. And again, we didn't even rent a car until like at half of that week. So I was Ubering every single day, and it was expensive. And I remember one time I got into this Uber. It was this nice, super nice Colombian lady, only Spanish. We started engaging in conversation, and I tell her like, hey, I'm excited. I come here for this Bitcoin conference. And she's like once I said Bitcoin, her like eyes popped out like really big. And she's like, oh my God, like, my kids keep talking about it, but like, they don't want to explain it to me. When you're at 12, 15, 18 years old, and your mom asks you something like, no, whatever. So like, she's trying to understand what Bitcoin is and cryptocurrencies, because she says, I don't like the banks. Everybody's talking about it as a way to make money, but I don't understand it. But I want to know, and this lady that drives Uber. And I started explaining it to her, and her eyes literally just was like, oh my God, this is so powerful. This is what we need. And right there and there, she created her wallet. Literally.
Love it. Yes, you orange pilled somebody in an Uber.
Yes. And listen, I even told her, hey, so let me tell you something ended up happening. And I think it was God saying, spread the Bitcoin gospel, because I don't know what happened with the Lyft app, but the Lyft app like shut up, and like it didn't like cancel my trip, right? And I was already on the way.
Oh, wow.
I told her, hey, like, I'll pay you in cash, or I can send it to you. And she's like, yeah, sure. She liked me. I liked her. We even stopped by getting some food, and it was like,
yes, that's Miami. They don't care.
We were like talking, whatever. And at the end of the trip, I told her, hey, like, I can send you Venmo or cash, or I can send it to you in Bitcoin if you like. And she's like, I'll take Bitcoin. So I literally paid my Uber ride with Bitcoin. Like,
yes.
So it was like a moment of like, wow. And the whole time she was thanking me like, oh my God, like this makes so much sense. And Latinos are very religious. Like, I know God wanted me to understand this. I've been looking to learn. There was a reason why I met you. And it was like very nice, because for the first time I saw the legit need of so many people, here in the US that are looking to learn how to make money, and Bitcoin is their way. So how do you see everybody? Because I think there's a big gap, right? You obviously have those really rich people in Miami that have millions of dollars into, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin investments. But then you also have the class, the working class people that are driving Ubers, running restaurants, doing all of these jobs. And there's a big divide on education. So like, how do you see the culture like there?
Yeah, no, I think so one side of Miami is like, you come there and it's all vacation and you party. And that's how I saw it before I moved to Miami. I was just going for Art Basel and like going to visit family. And then I moved to Miami, and I've started to uncover a different side of it. I lived in Little Havana, which is a totally Cuban neighborhood. And I saw like a lot of stuff is cash only. Like if you bring $100 bill, some of those mom and pop stores, they'll look at you like you're crazy. So I think there's a few sides of Miami, and the side that I'm currently experiencing is the immigrant side, and the sides that, that is about small business and sending remittances back to their families and Latam and other parts of the Caribbean. And then on the flip side, there's the actual government side in the Miami tech community. And that community is another part of the narrative, and trying to build up the greater region through startups and, making sure we have these programs where we can transform communities into different crypto communities. And, I'll go to some places in Little Havana and they'll say, yeah, I'll take Bitcoin. or I'll take cryptocurrency, or you'll see like different ATMs, Bitcoin ATMs in like, Overton, like parts of the town that you wouldn't think that, you'll see a Bitcoin ATM. And that's largely because of the mayor and the center of innovation that is really planted in there. I mean, Mayor Francis Suarez is like one of the first mayors that really, grasped hold to the concept of crypto, because he says that Miami is a place that people come to escape from something. You have like a lot of Cubans, they come here on the boat, because they want to escape from, their system of oppression. And you have like the Caribbean, and you have even New Yorkers now that wanted to escape the quarantine. I'm not originally from New York, but I lived in New York for 10 years and I got priced out, and I came to Miami, and it's just open arms. So it really is like cryptocurrency and like the community mission aspect of it are very symbiotic. And so I think that the government, they're doing a lot to kind of educate on, what it is to hold digital assets. There's so many different hotspots for free Wi-Fi in some of the communities. Overton has a center of innovation that I'm a part of. There's even during the Bitcoin 2021 conference, we partnered with Cash App, one of my clients, Black Bitcoin billionaires, and we gave out $150 worth of Bitcoin to whoever who showed up to Overton. All I had to do was show up, and we texted you and you got free Bitcoin. And half of those people that were there, they didn't know anything about Bitcoin, but they had a Cash App. And we educated them on, what it is to hold Bitcoin. Why is it going to be the currency of the future? And then we gave away books, Bitcoin in Black America by Isaiah Jackson. So that was one of the media partnerships I helped orchestrate and created the deck for, and helped with the whole communication aspect of it. So I really think Miami, it's just a tech hub. And then when you go to other places, because I've been to New York, try to have a Bitcoin meetup or a crypto meetup at a bar, and only 3 people showed up. And then we tried to orange pill some people, and they were just not having it. In Miami, it's not like that. Like you said, your taxi driver was like, oh my gosh, I want to know about Bitcoin. How do I get my hands on it? Because the mayor's talking about it. The Dolphin Stadium is, they are sponsored by crypto companies. So it's just in the environment. It's like the billboards have crypto and like are advertising different crypto. So it's really about being immersed in that culture. And that's why I love Miami.
Yeah. And I saw that, right? I think it's new, especially with the quarantine. A lot of people left San Francisco, where I'm currently at, and they said, why am I paying overpriced rent for like a dead city, right?
A dead city, like no foliage. I heard there's no foliage in San Francisco. We have foliage, we got alligators, and we have it all. And like the rent is cheap, and also electricity, just for inflation. We talk about inflation. In New York, my electricity bill was like $500, and I lived in a studio, and I didn't really pay. I mean, I don't have like that much shit in a studio in general. Sorry for cussing, but then in Miami, the like my bill was like $150 a month, sometimes $75. So that electricity is super low, and that's what's going to contribute to building these mining companies and people who want to come here and do different projects related to the blockchain. And the government, or the mayor, at least, he has initiatives out to make sure that the electricity stays at an affordable price. And that's not just for the community members, that's for to build small businesses, to attract them and to keep them here.
Yeah. So now we're talking about, for example, because I've seen that, I've been to Little Havana, been to a lot of these Cuban spots that only accept cash. Do you think now, as Bitcoin becomes more prevalent, as more crypto starts coming into Miami, that they're going to start accepting, different forms of payment? Are you starting to see that as of now? Because I mean, they're missing out if they're not taking it. But I think the biggest thing is education. Again, right? Having a Spanish education, I think really that's what's needed, because you can teach all you want in English, but if it doesn't make sense to them in Spanish, then there's like a big divide. And that's something I do want to see,
Yeah, I think I think that's still missing. As a business owner, I would love to apply to some of those government contracts to help create those literature. And if anyone's a business owner in Florida listening, if you like, you can apply for, a government contract in communications to help build some of that signage and that collateral in, different languages, in Spanish and Brazil and Portuguese and different parts, all those languages that need to be translated, you could be contracted to do that. So I think that's what's missing. As like we get more financial resources, I would like to see that happen, in the next like year for sure.
Melissa, so I know we're almost coming to an end in the podcast, but what is your goal in regards of writing for crypto? Like, what are you, because you live in one of the most vibrant communities to be doing crypto right now, whether it's writing, whether you're in tech, whether you're whatever, like this is the best time to really be in it.
Yeah.
So what is your final goal when it comes to crypto? And like, how can people contact you and know about what you're writing?
Well, okay, so I just released Violet Summerzine issue 11 on urban sustainability and crypto. If you go to my website, violetsummerzine.com, you'll be able to be immersed into a VR experience, actually. Download the zine right from the VR site, as well as navigate through the gallery to see some of my talks on what mass adoption is. So my really final, I don't know if I have a final goal, but I want to make sure I'm at the cusp of this crypto movement, because it's still growing and it still can be what it is. But I think for me, I want to be the go-to head strategist company when it comes to targeting multicultural communities for crypto, Web 3.0, and VR. So I really released Violet Summerzine issue 11 as my manifesto for these corporate companies who want to know how to get in where they fit in. Well, you need to contact me because I have my ear on the pulse. Here's my manifesto, what I think crypto is. I have a white paper on decentralized autonomous organizations and what that means to Black and brown businesses, because we've always been left out of the system. So traditional top-down business structures, they don't make sense or matter to me anymore. It's really about creating that circular economy. And so the companies that I'm working with now are really, they're looking for content that resonates with their audience, because they're trying to take their traditional audience into crypto. And that's what it's about. I mean, you could be a digital first, audience, but I think right now for mass adoption, we have to make sure everyone is inclusive. So I think in the next year, just developing my company as a digital first VR Web 3.0 company and really getting those top tier clients like, a Microsoft or a Target or, a Nike, which is kind of one of my clients now. Would love to showcase Nike's assets in, one of my VR spaces. So that is one of my goals for, I guess, in the next 6 months to a year. And I'm going to be coming out with a book soon. So hopefully, I'll talk about a little bit more about my journey there. But yeah, follow me at Mel Writes Miami on Twitter and Instagram, and Violet Summerzine on Instagram and Twitter.
Love that. Awesome. Sounds good. Well, thank you so much, Melissa, again, for taking the time.
Of course.
Make sure you check out her website, and I'm excited for you. I can't wait to see all the stuff you're going to be doing in the next couple months.
And I'm really excited to join more Crypto Babes conversation on Clubhouse and use more of your filters on Instagram, because they're so lit.
Love it. Thank you so much.